MoDOT to encourage drivers to buckle up and put their phone down.
It's still a bit on the chilly side out there, but warmer weather is on the way. The latest coming up.
And President Biden is taking steps to try to lower fuel costs again. We take a look at his latest plan to tap into the national stockpile.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, buckle up, phone down. That's the message the Missouri Department of Transportation is sending to drivers. This is KOAM News at Noon. I'm Tanya Bach. Topping our first 7 minutes, the Joplin Police Department, along with Joplin Schools, are teaming up with MoDOT to keep drivers safe on the road. Now, according to MoDOT, buckling your seatbelt and putting your cell phone down are two of the most impactful actions a person can take to be safe while driving. Critical incidents are 23 times more likely to happen when texting and driving. This Friday is the official Buckle Up, Phone Down campaign day. The JPD says they're always on the lookout for drivers who are not buckled up or texting and driving. Well, families in a St. Louis suburb are outraged by new evidence that an elementary school has unacceptable levels of radioactive contamination. CBS News first reported on the contamination in and around Florissant, Missouri in 2015. A recent round of testing highlights leaks of radioactive material into nearby Coldwater Creek, dating back to the creation of the first atomic bomb. Now, the area has seen cancer clusters and other health problems for decades. Now, as Adriana Diaz reports, the contamination could be even more widespread.
When you guys start to see the level of disrespect the Department of Energy had for our community, you're going to be mad.
I've been out as well, calling doctors, having blood work done. Any of those things that I can do right now to test lead levels.
There is fury in Florissant, Missouri, after Jana Elementary School tested positive for dangerous radioactive contaminants.
We cannot allow our community to be devastated by the poor choices of people in the 40s, the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, and now we're here past the 2000s.
That's PTA President Ashley Burnoff, who's been fighting for transparency for nearly a decade.
My biggest fear is that our kids are going to end up with illnesses later on in life, and that it could have been prevented.
How this is even possible dates back to the 1940s and 50s, when radioactive waste was stored near what's now St. Louis Airport, contaminating the soil and nearby Coldwater Creek, which frequently overflows. In 2012, the Army Corps of Engineers, which is responsible for cleanup of the area, began testing near the airport and expanded to test along the creek. Army Corps communication to the school district from earlier this year acknowledged low-level radioactive contamination, but said it was within acceptable parameters. And while the Corps has tested 300 feet outside the school, the building itself is not within its designated testing area.
The Army Corps of Engineers denied us testing, said it wasn't reasonable, and when testing was done, they don't like the results.
Lawyers bringing a class action lawsuit hired their own investigator who did test inside the school building. They found unacceptable levels of radioactive lead inside the kitchen, gym, and ventilation systems. At the playground, lead levels were 22 times higher than normal. The Army Corps of Engineers told us the report is not consistent with our accepted evaluation techniques and must be thoroughly vetted. The Corps acknowledges there is contamination underground in a nearby wooded area, but says they found no contamination between the creek and the playground.
Has your son talked about being worried for his health?
Sure, absolutely. He understands the real ramifications that come with radioactive nuclear material. This is the stuff his superheroes fight against.
There are already bipartisan calls in Congress to investigate. Now, students are attending school in person until Monday, when they're going to go virtual through Thanksgiving. After that, the students will be transferred to different schools in the area until further notice. One parent we spoke to last night off camera was in tears because she doesn't want the school split up. Adriana Diaz, CBS News, Florissant, Missouri.
Well, 2 nights of bitter cold in a row. You know what? We're ready for a warm up. Chris Warner joins us with the first look at the forecast.
Yeah, we've got a warm up on the way. We've just got a little bit more time before we get there. But yeah, it's been bitterly cold the last couple of mornings. In fact, this morning, broke some record lows this morning across the area. So we should be at 70 this time of year for the high and 47 for the low. 47 is about what we made as a high yesterday. But we're going to start to get closer to 70 as we go through the rest of the day. Temperatures across the region looking pretty good. 49 in Iola, 48 Fort Scott, 46 in Pittsburgh, 46 in Carthage, and we have 47 in Joplin. We're 7th in range line. The skies are clear. It looks absolutely lovely. The north-northwest breeze isn't all that great, but it's still giving us enough of a wind chill out there. Feels like it is 43, and the trend throughout the day will still get up there. We're still pushing the mid-50s, so not bad. And when we drop down this evening, it's not going to be like last night when temperatures just straight up plummeted after sunset. We're still looking at an afternoon high of 57 degrees. We've still got the clear skies for now, but we are expecting some cloud cover to build in later this evening and into the early evening hours. But then that'll start to clear out, and it's going to get even warmer before it gets colder again. Yeah, that's that roller coaster we're on. We've been here. We're going up to here, and then next week we're going to come back down to here. We'll talk all about that and take a look at that 7-day forecast and some rain chances on the way here in just a few minutes.
Roller coaster weather. How about some roller coaster gas prices?
Indeed. Yeah, that's kind of where they've been, too.
Well, speaking of that, gas prices have been dropping throughout the summer, but recent news from overseas sent them right back up again at a time when many Americans can vent their financial pain with their vote. Skylar Henry joins us with what President Biden is doing to try to make gas more affordable.
President Biden is expected to announce he's releasing millions of barrels of oil from the Strategic Petroleum Reserve.
President Biden's going to continue to take action to make sure that he lowers costs.
The White House says the move is meant to act as a wartime bridge to increase oil supplies, while the U.S. ramps up domestic production to replace the oil lost to the war in Ukraine.
Putin's war continues. His war on Ukraine, his unprovoked war, brutal war on Ukraine continues. And so it puts pressure on our global energy supplies.
The oil producer nations that make up OPEC Plus announced a major production cut 2 weeks ago. President Biden urged Saudi Arabia not to take that step, but it did anyway. This move by the administration to bring down prices at the pump comes just 3 weeks ahead of the midterm elections, and Republicans have been hammering Democrats over inflation.
That rising energy price that people see at the pump, that they see in their utility bills, that our farmers see when they're paying more for diesel, that was the direct result of policies enacted by Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi and supported 100% by Tim Ryan.
In the latest CBS News poll, 65% of registered voters said the economy is getting worse, and 45% of those surveyed said President Biden is responsible for the economic conditions. Skylar Henry, CBS News, the White House.
The White House says the president may authorize the sale of more oil from the petroleum reserves this winter if it's needed. And that's a look at today's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Up next on KOAM News at Noon.
Expedia is out with its annual report on air travel hacks. I'm Michael George at LaGuardia Airport with details on ways to save.
And later we're making pumpkin streusel muffins in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen. The travel website Expedia is out with its annual air travel hacks report. CBS's Michael George is at LaGuardia Airport in New York with details on ways to save.
After a summer of expensive flights, many Americans are wondering just how much heading home for the holidays will cost. The travel site Hopper reports Thanksgiving and Christmas airfares will be their highest in 5 years.
I think we're at a point in our lives where the price does have an effect on it, but we still travel.
But there are ways to save. Expedia revealed its annual Air Travel Hacks Report. Among the tips, the best day to fly for Thanksgiving is the Friday before or the day of. For Christmas, it's the weekend before.
Christmas this year falls on a Sunday, so if you leave on the Friday before Christmas, you're not going to be in good shape at all.
CBS News senior travel advisor Peter Greenberg says he often flies on Thanksgiving morning.
Get there in time to carve the turkey. And then while everybody's stuck at the mall on Friday, on Black Friday, you go home on Friday, you can go bowling on that plane. There's nobody on that plane.
That makes sense.
Right?
Another tip from Expedia, buy your airfare on Sundays. That will save you about 5% on domestic flights and 15% on international flights.
Business travel is starting to come back. Fares will stabilize on Sunday. You'll get the lowest deals then.
To avoid delays and cancellations, you want to book a flight earlier in the day. According to Expedia, a flight that leaves after 3 in the afternoon is 50% more likely to be canceled. And lastly, with the exceptions of holiday travel, Expedia says book domestic flights 1 month out and international flights 6 months out to get the best deals. Michael George, CBS News, LaGuardia Airport, New York.
If you want to book a ticket using frequent flyer miles, you may need to book nearly a year in advance. That's because there's an estimated 32 trillion unredeemed frequent flyer miles, and the airlines don't want to displace revenue-paying passengers with travelers who want to redeem those miles. Still to come on the KOAM News at Noon, Mr. Food.
If you love pumpkin, stick around, because we're going pumpkin crazy here in the test kitchen.
But first, Chris Warner returns with a pumpkin crazy complete forecast.
We had a relatively chilly start to the day. Yet again, not even just chilly, but an outright cold start to the day. We're starting to warm up. We're about where we were yesterday, but we'll still climb a few degrees across the area. Right now at 7th and Range Line, sky is as clear as the eye can see looking off to the north-northwest, and that's the direction the wind is coming from. It's light, but it's enough to give us a wind chill. So 47 in Joplin now, but feels like 43. So that light breeze did, making a bit of a difference out there. But check it out. The warmer weather is out there. We've got 58 Center and Neoda Shea, 51 in Sedan, 49 Parsons, 46 Miami and Neosho, and Carthage right now at the noon hour. And as we go through the rest of the day, we are going to warm up, and we're going to do so quite nicely. We're still looking to reach a high, say right around 57 degrees out there with the sunny skies. Then we're going to see some cloud cover try and build in later this evening. And it'll be mostly cloudy, say around 7, 8 o'clock. But then those clouds will start to break up and give us some partly cloudy skies tonight. But we will not drop and plummet down and below freezing tonight. We'll reach an overnight low of 40 degrees. So 43 at 11, 41 at 2, and then 40 by 6 a.m. So as you can see, too, we're also fairly slow to drop off on temperatures as we head into tonight. Now, looking into the weekend, as you can see, big difference in temperatures. 81 on Saturday, mostly cloudy. 78 on Sunday, mostly cloudy as well. We may have a stray shower or two on the Missouri side Sunday, but most of us are going to remain dry. But we're still watching some storm chances at the start of next week, which we can show you on the future track. So we take a look into the future for the rest of this week. Yeah, we do get our nice warm up, and it looks pretty good. We have partly cloudy skies off and on throughout the week. And then around the area, some of those stray spotty showers again on Sunday that may give parts of Missouri a little bit of a sprinkle, but really not much is expected out of any of this on Sunday. It's this off to our northwest that's going to start to move into our area. It's another cold front that's going to bring us some cooler temperatures, but it also brings us a decent chance of some widespread showers and thunderstorms across the area, which, again, rain's something we need. And this is going into early Monday morning. So very late Sunday, early Monday is when we'll have more showers and thunderstorms move into the area. Don't forget, scan that. Get out your phone, scan that QR code, or go to the App Store and search for KOAM Skywatch Weather. That way you can have the KOAM Skywatch Weather app. Latest forecast, radar data, videos, the weather blog, everything you need to know right there in the palm of your hand. So if you're out over the weekend, for example, and you're not really near a TV, well, if you've got the Skywatch Weather app, it's just like having Doug Hetty or myself or Sam right there with you. And who wouldn't want all three of us just hanging out with you on your camping trip, right? I'm getting strange looks here in the studio. It looks like nobody here apparently wants the three of us to go camping with them. That's what I'm getting. That's unpleasant. Well, that's all right. I didn't want to go to camping with anybody here anyway. So tomorrow, though, we really start to warm up. Tanya looks very just out there. This is okay. 70. She says she's going camping Saturday. She's not inviting Doug Samurai, are you? I didn't think so. 72 on Thursday, 83 Friday, though. Get that. We go through the weekend. Good storm chances Monday, some shower chances possible Tuesday, but you can see the temperatures starting to come down. Overnight lows pushing 70. I want to show you the 10-day. 49 Wednesday of next week, 50 Thursday, 62 next Friday. And take a look at those overnight lows. They drop back down to, if not slightly below, the freezing mark. So we get this brief random warm-up right at the end of the week before we see another cold fall-like pattern start to settle in by the middle of next week after some rain chances, and it's rain that we absolutely need.
I'm kind of in disbelief because it doesn't seem like I can ever plan a fall camping trip or a spring camping trip and have good weather, and it looks good.
Yeah, right now it's looking pretty decent, you know, for a nice Saturday camping trip. I mean, 81, 67 Saturday night, so not bad at all. I mean, it's gonna
I
be
might
good
invite you after all. We'll see.
Okay, well, but you got to bring Doug and Sam with you too. We're a package deal here in the Skywatch Weather Center. It's all of us or none of us.
Okay, you can come.
All right, well, we'll be there then.
All right, thanks, Chris. We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Staff Sergeant Richard Riley in the U.S. Air Force. The soldier from Fort Scott joined the 142nd Troop Carrier Wing in 1958. To Staff Sergeant Richard Riley, we thank you, our four-state hero. Today's fall dessert is super moist and features a homemade streusel topping. Howard shows us how to make his pumpkin streusel muffins in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
In the last few years, America's love affair with pumpkin has skyrocketed. I mean, it's hard to walk down the aisle of the market and not see everything from pumpkin cereal to pumpkin coffee. So to add to the pumpkin frenzy, we came up with a pumpkin muffin that I think you're gonna love. We start by creaming some butter and sugar. Once it's light and fluffy, we add in some canned pumpkin, a couple of eggs, and a splash of vanilla. After it's smooth, in go our dry ingredients, including a bunch of spices. This goes into muffin cups that we lined with paper liners, and we top the batter with a homemade streusel topping. After these bake, which takes just minutes, we let them cool slightly before digging in. I'd be curious to see what part you like better, the super moist pumpkin-y cake-like part or the buttery streusel topping that melts in your mouth. To get the recipe for our pumpkin streusel muffins, all you have to do is visit our website. I'm Howard with Kelly in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we found a perfectly pumpkin way for you to say, ooh, it's so good.
We can find this recipe along with a lot more good food from the Mr. Food Test Kitchen online. Just go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Here's a look at our four-state market prices.
Well, we've got another warm day lined up for us tomorrow, much warmer today, 72, 83 Friday, 81 Saturday, maybe a spotty shower or two Sunday. Better storm chances Monday, 74, and then we see another fall-like pattern by the middle of next week.
What do we have coming up tonight at 5?
Well, a lot at 5. For starters, a new report talked to 41,000 women about their jobs. We look at why many of them say they're ready to quit. Plus, proposed changes to child care regulation could expand options across the state of Kansas. We're going to hear from a Pittsburgh daycare center on how that would affect its wait list. And Joplin man learns his sentence in a 2021 arson case. Hope you join us for those stories. A lot more, of course. It's coming up on KOAM News at 5.
All right, thank you, Dow. Thanks for joining us for KOAM News at noon. We'll see you right back here at 5 o'clock.